Welcome to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people you do business with. And we're with Jill Engel today. She's the Director of Development for Camp Mirage, and she's so smiling and so happy because she's in air conditioning and able to get
Yes,
out of the heat of the camp today. How you doing, Jill?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. It's a business and personal podcast. So, tell us about your background and how you ended up with Camp Mirage.
Okay, well, my background, I worked in retail as a human resource manager, did special events, did public relations for two companies, a lot of recruiting and training. And then probably about 18 years ago, I flipped over to the nonprofit sector, and I had the blessing to be able to work for four nonprofits. And uh, and then earlier this year, one of my nonprofits was making some changes, and they were making some changes, and so I was looking for some hours, and Kara, who is the owner, Kara and Jason of Camp Mirage, they saw that I was looking for hours, and I've known Kara for 25 years, and she approached me and said, we're franchising this amazing business and we need somebody to do community relations, which just happens to be like my favorite thing in the world. So it was a match made in heaven.
Absolutely. And you've climbed the ladder quickly now to Director of Development. So you've got all kinds
Yes.
of things going on.
Yes, from part-time to full-time. And so now what I do is I help with strategic planning. I help new franchises scout their new locations. I'm still doing community relations and helping them find community events and just bridging and being able to help those new franchises. Mhm.
Well, there's a lot of things we could talk about with Camp Mirage, but I think the one thing that stands out to me is the 40 different themes that you have
Oh
there. It could be
gosh.
kind of a one-stop shop for parents so they're not divide and conquer and Uber and all over to try to get their kids
Correct.
from one place to the next.
I think it's interesting because Kara first started this business because back when she was young, her parents sent her away to an overnight camp and she was homesick. So at some point, she decided that she wanted to start a camp that had the camaraderie and the feel of an overnight camp, but that the kids could go home and sleep in their beds. But she wanted it to be engaging and exciting. She knew she wanted that age range. So our age range is 5 to 14. And those are very different kids. You've got elementary and middle school. So, yes, we have over 40 different themes. And each week of the entire summer, the themes rotate. So they get an opportunity. So if a child signs up for the entire summer, they can go to a different theme every single week. So, as you said, whether it's art, science, sports, um, or maybe even we have things take your pick, awesome sauce, grossology. So, all of these really cool camps. And then in the middle of all that, they get to go to a slip and slide. They get to go to a snack shop we call Canteen, and they're learning life skills. There's a lot. It's fabulous.
Where else can you take grossology? I mean, this is
Oh my
one in a
gosh.
million.
I love how the camp counselors say it's all the things that the teachers don't want to do at school and the parents don't want to let you do at home. So you just come to Camp Mirage for the summer and we do all of those things with the kids. So it's a win-win, seriously.
And dream for the parents. Kids are off devices and out having fun outdoors all day. They come home tired, so they're ready to settle down, but then they want to do it all over again the next day.
They do. And I think you hit on a big thing. It's being off of those devices. All of us that are a part of Camp Mirage say, gosh, do you remember back when we were kids? And we were outside until the street lights went off and we were just playing and, having fun, coming home dirty, like you said, and getting up and doing it all over again the next summer morning. That's what Camp Mirage is. The other great thing, though, is that because you're not driving your kids around, that your kids are making friends at the beginning of the summer and they're keeping those friendships for the entire summer. So they're not meeting someone and then in a week changing those friends again. So, yeah.
Yep, and it's always good to meet friends outside of your school, normal friends that you always hang out with and meet a whole different group of people.
It is. And the other part of it's the counselors. because the counselors, 85% of our counselors over the last 25 years were once campers. And when a child comes into camp for the summer, not only do they make new friends, but they bond with the counselors. So as soon as the next camp brochure comes out for the next year, they're looking to see what camps they want, but they're also calling and they're saying, what camp is Colin overseeing? Because they want that, or Hannah, so that they can have the same camp counselors as they did the year before, because they developed that rapport and those camp counselors became role models for them.
Having a title like the Director of Development must keep you quite busy, considering Camp Mirage is continuing to grow. Where currently can people experience the camp?
Well, it was terrific. It hasn't even been a year. It was last fall that the owners decided to franchise the business. So this year we opened up camps. We have 2 in Tampa Bay that opened. We have 1 in the Nashville area that opened. And then the ones here in Michigan, we had Brighton, Canton, Farmington Hills, and Troy. And I'm sure that you should expect more of those next year, is what I'll say.
What opportunities are still available yet this summer?
I think it's important so Plymouth is pretty much sold out, their locations, and that happens every single year. So it's the newer locations here in Michigan, Brighton, Canton, Farmington Hills, and Troy. They still have some openings, but you have to go in and look at it on a week by week basis, because not every week is open. So you need to take a look at the camps, see what the age range is. And then we also have some camp counselor openings, because now that we have opened in Michigan, these first 2 weeks that we've been open, word of mouth has just spread like wildfire. So all these parents are signing up their kids for camp. So we actually have openings, especially in Troy and Farmington Hills, that we're looking for additional camp counselors. So they need to be at least 18 years old. And so those are a couple of other opportunities. So opportunities for camp. The other great thing that we didn't talk about, Ryan, is besides signing up for the camps, which are from 9 to 12, we have before care and after care. And so as long as a family signed up for at least 1 week of camp, they can do a drop off on any day, Monday through Friday, from 12:30 to 5:30. They don't have to call ahead. It's normally about $10 an hour for the hourly rate, so it's less than you pay a babysitter. And we charge by the 15-minute increments, so you're only paying for the time that you use. We have pizza lunch available, and again, I referenced Canteen earlier. We have a snack shop, and the kids have to budget their money each week, and so it's a great life skill for them to be able to learn. So that's another amazing thing that we do. And things like we've got Dude Camp, Girl Power, those are things that the kids are coming up with fundraisers for in the area. We've got a counselor and training program for those older middle school kids that don't want to necessarily be in a daycare setting. So a counselor and training program. And then we also have a business boot camp for them where they're coming up with a different business every week. So just last week in Farmington, Spider-Man made a visit and he did the morning exercises with the team. So we have princess camps and superhero camps for the younger ones. So there's everything across the board, but there's really something for everyone, no matter if they're age 5 to 14, truly.
So I'm sure, you knew about Camp Mirage going in before you started working closer with the camp, but what just are some things that you've learned and have opened your eyes in the few months since you've been on board?
I think it's knowing the impact for the parents. I think it's knowing that not only are their kids coming home, as you said, dirty and exhausted, which is good for the parents after their workday, but seeing the impact. We get messages every single day. We get emails, we get texts saying, oh my gosh, this was so organized, or Joey came home from camp. He was so excited to show us what he did, talk about what he learned. And so it's building team, it's building self-esteem of these kids and making them feel valued. But they're also having fun. They're playing jokes on the camp counselors. They're having water fights. They're playing tug of war. These camp counselors, they're in the mud pit with the kids. So it's that whole team camaraderie, but the parents know that their kids are safe and they're learning new things. And so we get letters all the time about the impact that it's making on their families. And especially, I've got one letter, for instance, about a child who was transitioning from elementary to middle school, and that it gave the child the self-confidence to go into a new environment. And I get goosebumps. I mean, it just warms my heart hearing stories like that, and it happens every single day. I mean, even the parents picking up today on this super hot day were like, thank you so much. You know, we don't know what we would do without you. And their kids love it. They absolutely love it.
Absolutely. How rewarding that must be. And if even one family happens to come across this podcast, learns about the camp, and gets signed up, hey, this is well worth our time. And
And especially because we're franchising now, and as I mentioned, not just in Michigan, we've got the new locations in Florida and Tennessee, but we already have locations signed on for next year already, and we've got a couple of other states that are signed on. So this is something that hopefully parents will be able to experience across the United States and see the difference that Camp Mirage is making and the value that we are bringing to every family.
and anybody that's still listening, Jill certainly has an interest in the camp. So what's the best way for them to learn more and get signed up, get involved in any way?
I think that if they go to campmirage.com, we have a listing of all of our current locations. So in Michigan, outside of Michigan, there's franchise information. We have definitions for all of our camps so that people can see like what each individual camp is. We have a video with testimonials from counselors, from parents. Three of our franchise owners right now used to be camp counselors. So we have everything they need to know really on our website. So campmirage.com has got everything that they need to know about us. And we encourage people to share this with, just because I live in Livonia, but I'm sharing it with all my friends in Brighton. I'm sharing it with my friends out on, in Rochester Hills. Like, I want everyone to know all about this.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to getting the word out there for you too. And hopefully, again, this connects you with people that you can help.
We appreciate it, Ryan, so much. It's a huge value, and we're so excited to be in this Metro Detroit area and being able to serve as many families as we can.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Jill. And we'll have you on again down the road for an update because it sounds like an update is coming.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Ryan.